Because you must be there or asleep, I think. What an awe-inspiring sight and sound that was. 5 burning engines flying in close formation. I say 5 because the Spitfire is the Mark 19, which had the later Griffin engine. So, and I'm trying to remember which was which. I spotted them as they went over. I think the Spitfire was the one on the left. I'll have a zoom in and let you know. So, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Yes, the Spitfire's on the inside of that the lower side, hovering at the top. Formed at RAF Biggin Hill in July 1957, so 43, 46, 56 years ago, named the historic aircraft flight, which I actually think is more appropriate. Because, let's face it, there weren't any Lancasters in the Battle of Britain, but the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight is very evocative. Very evocative name. So, as I said, the Lancaster are one of only 2 airworthy Lancasters. The other one is in Canada. But there is another Lancaster that isn't approved to fly, but they do engine runs and taxi up and down the runway down in Germany that flies in the only location. And as I was saying earlier, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight is formed as a supporters club that you can join by going along to their stand on the Cliff Park here. It costs £25 for a year's membership. If you join here today, you get an extra free goodie bag as well. Or else you can join online at raf.mod.uk/bbmf. And we have a pair of very historic fighters. The Hurricane is the last one ever built of 14,533. And that's what we can see now in place with the Lancaster. And on to the right is the Spitfire, the Mark 19 Griffin engine. And the world altitude record for a piston-engine aircraft is still held today by this type of Spitfire, the Mark 19. Used for photo reconnaissance. That was flying out of Kai in Hong Kong in February 1952, where Flight Lieutenant Ted Powell's AFC climbed his Spitfire Mark 19 to a recorded 51,550 feet. The Spitfire being flown by squadron leader Andy Milliken. So what can we say about the Spitfire? It first flew in 1936 on the 5th of March. It remained in RAF frontline service right up until 1954. It was produced in greater numbers than any other British combat aircraft before or since the war, with 20,341 Spitfires and its 23 different variants, including the Naval Spitfire, being produced. The aircraft remained in production for 12 years, and at the end of its development, the Spitfire carried an engine producing more than twice the power of the original 1,050 horsepower of the Mark 1 Spitfire. Its maximum take-on weight was 9 and Franklin Mitchell, which first took to the air in 1936. The Spitfire played a major part in achieving ultimate victory in World War II and truly deserved its place as one of the most successful fighter designs ever. And I think without doubt, the most famous charismatic of all time. That famous elliptical wing shape in profile there. The RAF Battle of Britain Memorial Flight exists to commemorate all those who have given their lives for the freedom of others while serving with the Royal Air Force in all conflicts. The flight's motto, lest we forget, says it all. And if you're ever down in the Lincolnshire area, do go along to the Visitor Centre at RAF Coningsby. Access and hangar tours depend on what's going on in the hangar, but you can get there and have a look inside the hangar and see these wonderful aircraft. Just get the smell of all the aircraft, it's really fantastic. Now, things are all the Spitfire going high as it comes right to have the Hurricane coming in low. Going by the Captain Johnny Stewart.
Just give it to me, that's you! Of course, I mean, it's the first time I've seen it.
So you can notice the different engine tone of the early there compared to the Griffin engine Mark 19 Spitfire. So here are the fighter pilots for the Battle of Britain for the first of the few and all that stuff. It was bearing in mind that when this aircraft rolled off the production line in July 1944 at Langley, Buckinghamshire, it had the inscription "The last of the many" on the port and starboard sides. Fitted onto the aircraft to restore its appearance to that of a Mark II-C Hurricane. The Spitfire was perhaps the glamour girl of the Battle of Britain, but Hurricanes actually downed more aircraft than Spitfires. Why was that? Well, a number of reasons. Probably the main reason is that the more agile and faster Spitfires were really there to engage the German fighters, leaving the Hurricanes to attack the bomber squadron before they could reach their targets. So I guess the Spitfire pilots had a tougher time being engaged in fighter-to-fighter combat, whereas the Hurricanes had a slightly easier but nonetheless no less dangerous job of attacking the bombers. Whenever I get a chance to speak to one of the bbmf fighter pilots, I like to ask them which aircraft they prefer. And it's very difficult to get a straight answer because both aircraft have their fans and have their advantages. Certainly during the Battle of Britain, the Hurricane was renowned for being a very stable gun platform and was loved by pilots and ground crews alike because being a slightly older design, if you think back to what the fighter state of the art was before the Hurricane came along, and that was the biplane Hawker Hart. And if you look at a Hawker Hart, remove the upper wing and look at it with squinty eyes, it doesn't look too dissimilar from the Hurricane. So the Hurricane was a wooden construction covered in fabric compared to the aluminium construction of the Spitfire. That meant that the Hurricane could sustain back damage much better. So, engaged against the Messerschmitt, which as well as its machine guns also have a cannon. If a cannon hit a Hurricane, there was a good chance it would just pass through the fabric of the fuselage and out the other side. Easily repaired with just a little bit of a drop and don't. Whereas if that cannon shell hit a Spitfire, the aluminium Spitfire, then there'd be a big hole and a lot of damage and it could even total the aircraft with just one hit. So the Hurricane's much more easily repaired. Hurricane coming in from the left now, leading the Lancaster. So, the famous Lancaster, which achieved a lot of focus this year, which we heard from Red 10 earlier, talking about Operation Chastise, the Dambusters raid by 617 Squadron, who will shortly be re-equipping with the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. A total of 7,377 Lancasters were built. And this particular one rolled off the production line of Mars in Chester on the 31st of May 1945. So after the end of the war in Europe, before the end of the war in the Far East. That 19 Bombay, which wasn't due to carry a bouncing bomb from Dambusters raid, because the unique cylindrical design of the bouncing bomb meant it didn't fit into Bombay, so it was slung underneath the aircraft, held on to the special rotating pulleys that gave it some spin, so that it was spinning as it hit the water to enable it to skip across the top of the water, over the side of the submarine nets, hit the dams, sink right next to the concrete wall of the dam and explode to maximum effect, magnified by the water itself. Now, because of the great weight of the Dambusters bomb, to give the aircraft range for that mission, the specially commissioned 617 Squadron aircraft had the big upper turret removed and covered over by a blank plate, so one less gunner to protect the aircraft. Now in from the left with the undercarriage down, in the landing configuration, dangling the Dunlops as it's known, appropriate because it's being flown by Captain Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop, Flight Lieutenant Seth Daly and Squadron Leader Russ Russell as the navigator. But these were friendly, so that's okay. So after the individual flight paths, the formation is reforming as a cruise ship. there's been a lot of debate about the success of the Van Busters raid, given the large losses in the crews who didn't make it back. But the raid achieved its strategic aims, which was to cause significant damage to German production in the Ruhr, but also providing a boost to British morale. Because up until May 1943 was the year of our Alamein in October, of which Churchill said up until Al Alamein there were only defeats, after Al Alamein there were only successes. So the Van Busters raid of May of 1943 really was the harbinger of the success that was to follow the Battle of Al Alamein.
Let's go!
Well, they don't float around the skies, but nor would we want them to. Long may they carry on flying, so to give us all the opportunity of these wonderful sights, and even more wonderful sounds as well. And let's remember what they are there to represent.